find out how this small change could be a huge game changer for Marvel Snap. As I hereby summon all my ant. Join me on my adventures through Marvel Snap. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. So, normally on the Thursday we would actually have the balance patch, and there was no balance patch for the Thursday because they did the imbalance patch with the power couples that exist right now. And I talked a little bit about it on Tuesday, just the general rules of how it worked. But I have been so excited about the fact that Marvel Snap is bringing these into the game at all. First of all, it just makes me giddy to know that Marvel Snap is willing to actually do this. The number of games that I've existed in and have doing where I've wanted cards to be broken for a week or 2 weeks or a day or a weekend or something that has been a month, and everybody's been scared to do it. If they're to the point where I want Marvel Snap to have a weekend where Iron Man is plus 24. I know that's broken. I know it shouldn't exist, but do it for a weekend. Let us all have fun. Let us, enjoy it. Secondly, I'm really excited that they're webbing keywords into this. This might mean that in the future, Sefindina might let actual keywords exist in the game. This could be their way of keywording in keywords, trying to do the soft launch on keywords with indestructible and vigor and unmoving. Because as the game grows, you're going to need more keywords because the cards are going to need to become more complex. But other than just the fact, it is giving me such joy in hopes that they can do stuff with this in the future. There's some ideas that I had about this that have just popped through my head. Imagine, let's talk about Obsidian, okay? So when Obsidian was originally designed, it was supposed to be indestructible, but it had to be played as an Infinity Stone. So imagine in the future, they put a keyword in here that was like story note or PowerPoint or something like that. I don't know what you would call it. Feel free to name whatever you want, second dinner. But in addition to this, you could put the word PowerPoint underneath it. I'll just give you this PowerPoint for right now and say PowerPoint indestructible Infinity Stone. So Cole Obsidian would still be able to exist as a 410 and still be able to play with his restriction of being able to play at a 1-drop slot. But if you play him all in Infinity Stone, he gets the indestructible. To me, that's such an interesting way of making it so that you have cards that have these nice, good story beats, but it can still be played in multiple decks because then Obsidian still exists in all the other decks, and you don't have to restrict it to just one deck. But you can actually make it so that if you play it, it does power for you. That just blew my mind as something that they could do, where you're just saying there, okay, here's a card, and if you play in the certain deck, it does better, but it's not that much of an upgrade. Like, for example, there's some ones that I thought about. Like, you could play Hulkbuster and on top of Iron Man, and if you played Hulkbuster on top of Iron Man, instead of Hulk being a 2-3, Hulkbuster is now a 2-6 or 2-7 to really make the idea that in the storyline, Hulkbuster belongs to Iron Man, and that's what's supposed to go into this. I have some other ones in here too, like we've talked about how Hulkbuster by itself is being used too much and destroyed. Okay, so if you want to make it so it's weak and destroyed, but say powerful and move, you can make it so that if it goes on a move card, it gets +2 or +3. So that a destroy card really doesn't get the bonus for this, but a move card would. Another one that I thought about with doing this is like Spider-Man 2099. It's so weird that Spider-Man 2099 doesn't work with actual Spider-Man. So imagine if you played with Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2099. And if you had both of them in your deck, when Spider-Man pulls something into 2099's deck, it would destroy it also. So it could destroy both ways. If Spider-Man 2099 moved, or if Spider-Man pulls something in there, it could destroy it. That's not that big of a thing, especially if you don't only trigger it once. But even if you trigger it both ways, I don't think that'd be the end of the world. But it just blew my mind about like how you could open this path where a card like this could be interesting and actually have a way where you put cards in there that help it out, but you don't need them. Like, if you don't have the Spider-Man in here, it's not the end of the world. It still works as a deck. But you could also put the Spider-Man in here and get that one extra little boost to this one extra little keyword that would be only temporary if you played with that card. The idea just like started warming through to my head. We've talked about how bad the Guardians of the Galaxies are, but imagine if instead of Guardians of the Galaxy is triggering if you hit the card, why were your Guardians of the Galaxy triggered if you hit the card? Then all of a sudden these little power boosts from Star-Lord and Groot and everything else become a huge boost, because now if you hit with Star-Lord, that'll make your Star-Lord bigger, your Groot bigger, and your Rocket Raccoon bigger. And you could have ones that don't even make sense, that aren't beneficial. You could have, imagine, I had this whole idea, and this really came through my head. And this one just really struck through my head. So imagine, if you would, that you use the Invisible Woman and you use the Mr. Fantastic. But in addition to that, you also put in the Human Torch. And you put in the Thing, okay? So you're actually getting every single thing that you need for the Fantastic Four. And if you actually draw all of the parts of that, every single card in there gets +4, but you would need all 4 to make that work. It's a big commitment, but it's a big power spike, and that makes sense for the Fantastic Four could be a team of 4, because it's always been so weird that there's no deck that ever wants to play the Fantastic Four as 4 cards. There's other ones that you could do with this, with stuff like for example, if you go with the Jean Grey, imagine that Jean Grey and Phoenix Force have some little bonus to them. Nobody's playing Jean Grey and Phoenix Force in the same deck. You're never going to play Jean Grey and Phoenix Force in the same deck at any point in any time. But maybe if you made some bonus where the two of them got together, Phoenix Force would always bring back Jean Grey, or Jean Grey could power up the Phoenix Force, or Phoenix Force would power up the Jean Grey. Then you'll stick them both in the same deck, and maybe somebody will try that. It just is making me so excited about what the game can do with these ideas. You know, one of the cards that's always been talked about the fact that it will never move up in ranks is Quicksilver. So imagine if they put a keyword on Quicksilver that had +1,000 on it. So if you're over ranked 1,000, if you've opened up over 1,000 on the path, now Quicksilver gets something new to him. Instead of being a 1 hit, he becomes a 1/5, or he has a different ability. But this only happens once you've gotten over 1,000 in your collector's rewards, kind of as a reason to move up on the collector's reward. And by that point, you're out of pull 1, pull 2. You don't have to worry about these cards being not teachable cards to the early game. And then once you get into the late game, these cards can still have a home. It just really excited me about what she could do. It brings life to so many cards by having some of these things out here. Some of the lowest play cards in the game would have life to them. Imagine Adam Warlock gets power point. If he's played alone, he gets +1 power. So that if you play him on a location that's abandoned, he gets +1 power and automatically draws you that card. So you can get a quick draw off of him, but as soon as somebody plays any card on this, on the opposite side of him, he loses that 1 power and drops back down to a 2-0. So he still would have to win the lane, and it still have the same ability, but you could get that one quick draw over there and be temporary. Some of them don't need anything else to work with them. They could just have these keywords on them. You could have ones that are completely one-sided or parasitic. Like, just for example, let's think about one of the bad guys. Let's see here. Let's look at Sandman. Sandman has a problem with actually seeing play. So imagine if Sandman got 1 less energy. Instead of him costing 5, he costs 4 if you played him in a deck with, say, Electro, so that they're fighting each other, or you played him in a deck with Spider-Man, why would you ever play Spider-Man in a Sandman deck if, like, both are trying to make Sandman less cost? You can make these restrictions in there. Well, you would have, if you wanted the 1 less power, you might have to play a card that didn't make sense in the deck, like, instead of the Spider-Man, you could use, let's see, he's a decently bad card. Let's just say, for example, you had to play Mr. Sinister in there. Why would you ever play Mr. Sinister in the Sandman deck? You wouldn't. But now you have that restriction, and if you want to make it work, you gotta figure out a deck that works with that. I don't know what would actually work in that particular situation, but you could do stuff like that. It's so just amazing of some of the stuff you could do with this. Imagine if, just for a moment, you did like Bucky Barnes. Let's just say Bucky Barnes out here, okay? What if I played when I played Captain America with Bucky Barnes, and because of that fact, Bucky Barnes could turn into the Winter Soldier with just Captain America. Oh, that'd be amazing. Now you have a way of making a Bucky Barnes that's not in the destroyed deck, because those two are supposed to be buddy. These were just some of the quick ideas that I came up with this, but it just means so much more if they do stuff like this. Now, I really hope that this isn't just a one-off Valentine's Day +2 power, +1 power. I really do hope that this is the start of Second Dinner doing something that can only be done in a virtual card game. You can never do these things in a real card game. But do it. Make us exciting. This is the first time in a long time I've been really excited about what Marvel Snap might be doing in the near future. And it's all because of this tiny little change on the silly little thing that I didn't know was coming up. Nobody knew was coming up. And they might never use again, but I hope they do. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for watching. And as always, remember, play for fun.